Hello everyone, I am the Golden Scouta, and welcome to my Dragon Ball Super Episode 130 review. Well, that was quite the entertaining episode, wasn't it? Goku vs. Jiren's final fight definitely lived up to my expectations, and this episode in particular is one I'm going to be revisiting a few more times throughout my life. But whenever you really dissect this episode, it is full of the same old shitty writing that Super constantly dishes out. If you're here to see another fan hype up this episode, you've come to the wrong place, and you should probably go over to the thousands of other fanboy reviews because my praises with this episode is pretty much already done. So let's begin with Mastered Ultra Instinct. I don't respect this version of Ultra Instinct at all, and it mostly has to do with the design. One of the reasons why I actually like Ultra Instinct Omen is because of how it is the ideal state of being for a fighter. And it comes off as very simple, yet something worth getting hyped over. And it is believable that anybody could achieve Ultra Instinct. With the silver hair, this comes off like another Super Saiyan transformation to me. And as a way of cramming in Super Saiyan 5 into a mainstream Dragon Ball show. I know that you could bring up that the angels know Ultra Instinct and their hair is white, but Mastered Ultra Instinct is silver. And it's not like whenever Goku powered down, his hair turned white, it turned black again. Plus, I think that Ultra Instinct was handled a lot better in episodes 110 and 116. And it really did feel like something special, because we've never seen anything like that, the whole movement without thinking. Mastered Ultra Instinct strangely seems to have lost that feel of being a state of being, seems to have lost the whole movement without thinking element as well, and it just feels like a regular old Super Saiyan transformation. But let's address the fight itself. The fight was beautifully done, and I did appreciate the episode for delivering on that. But when you really think about it, what makes this fight so big and grand besides the fact that this is the two strongest guys in the Tournament of Power? The Super Saiyan God Goku vs. Beerus fight had the proper build-up and reasoning for it happening in the first place. Here, Jiren has been messing around for the last 5 minutes in a tournament for survival and has been sending very mixed messages about who he is and what he's all about. First, he stated he was seeking something beyond strength, and now he treats his strength like it's all he needs. First, he was telling Belmod to shut up about revealing his backstory, and now he's indulging in it. It seems like the writers are trying to give Jiren the Toguro or Cell payoff to Goku getting this new form/power, but without any of the build-up or reasoning behind those two fights. Toguro and Cell both wanted to test out their full powers and deliberately tried to make their opponent power up. And so whenever Yusuke and Gohan respectively both achieved these power-ups, it led to this great payoff, and it gave their new powers a real purpose to the story. Jiren never had the intention of Goku reaching Ultra Instinct again, since he was planning to knock off Goku right before it happened to activate again. The fight might have felt less hollow to me if it had better build-up, if Jiren was actively trying to knock off his opponents, and the narrative of his character was more consistent and actually touched up upon earlier in the tournament. Yeah, I would have thought that there was more to this fight than there actually was. But on to my main problem with the episode. The show putting Goku on a pedestal as the hero, and doing everything they can to make Jiren out to be the villain. You know, it's pretty damn insulting that Goku is being propped up as this guy who fights for his friends and family, when they are literally in a tournament where people are fighting for their friends, family, and their entire universe. So with this logic, why didn't Obuni get Ultra Instinct? Or Gohan? Or Vegeta? Oh right, they don't have the plot shielding and favoritism from the writers like Goku has. I know that it has been stated that Jiren is not a bad guy, but it is really hard to believe that when he tried to attack the audience and says lines that villains typically say. I know what they're doing, and this is such a cheap tactic I've seen time and time again, push the person down they want people to hate, and at the same time, do everything they can to prop up the guy they want us to cheer for. But now let's address the end of the episode. The bait and switch, twist, ass pull, whatever you want to call it, makes no sense. I mean, I'm glad on some level that they didn't go through with number 17's death, because of how I said earlier about how it is way too close to the end of the series for it to really mean anything. But when you have the Grand Priest say that it appears that he self-destructed at the end of 127, and 17 suddenly appearing to be alive, it just comes off as plot armor of the worst kind, and it raises many questions. 17 blocked Jiren's blast on a floating platform, so where in the hell did he run off to? And how did nobody see him run off to hide? Is 17 so fast that he can block Jiren's blast, run over to the Grand Priest and go, "Psst, don't tell anyone I'm still in the ring"? The Grand Priest going along for it for whatever reason, and hide away without anyone else noticing him? I'm sorry. 17 surviving made absolutely no sense, and it made me wonder again, why the hell didn't he just suicide himself when Jiren shot that blast at him to just disqualify him? I know, it makes too much sense. That's why. So, for my overall rating for this episode, I will give it a 3 out of 5. This is probably going into my top 5 favorite episodes of Super whenever it comes down to raw entertainment, but at the same time, it goes into the same dumpster fire as all the other badly written episodes go in. I can understand why anyone would think that this is the best episode of Super because it looked really, really good. But honestly, I probably wouldn't even put it in my top 10 favorite episodes of Super overall. Several things really brought this episode down for me. The fight not having the proper build-up, Mastered Ultra Instinct not being nearly as cool or impactful as Omen, Jiren being at his absolute worst, and 17 surviving being presented so clumsily. If those things were fixed, this could have been a 5 out of 5 episode for me, but it gets dragged down to a 3 out of 5 for those reasons. So, next week is the final episode of Dragon Ball Super, and they are still fighting. I know that there is a movie that is coming out in December that will continue after 131, but I just wonder how they are going to end this show, since the next episode preview doesn't give anything away. We're going into this episode completely blind, and I'm just crossing my fingers that it will be serviceable. So those have been my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super, episode 130, and the next episode preview for 131, the final episode. I already bought myself some good scotch to celebrate this occasion. But with that, guys, thank you for watching, and have a great day.